Hello guys and gals, and welcome to the second Theorycraft episode. So Diablo 2 is definitely a very old game, and you could certainly say that everything has been done. I mean, if you really wanted to scour the internet for hours, you could say everything's been done. But it's so fun just to theorize characters in your own mind and try and come up with builds without looking up all the answers. You know, like trying to figure out the answer to a riddle without going online and Googling the riddle and finding the answer. Now, this particular character is an interesting one. It's one I've been thinking about for a while. It's one I wanted to know whether it would actually work. And the answer to the question is, I don't know. We're going to find out. So right now, I have a character with some pretty broken OP equipment. And the reason why he has some pretty broken OP equipment is because I don't think that even with broken OP equipment, he's going to work. So this is a test to see whether or not the idea is even viable at its utmost before I ever go through the process of trying to make the character. And so this is offline, and I'm running a Spirit Monarch shield just simply for the +2. There may be a better option, but I threw that on him for the +2 to skills, and I'll talk about why plus to skills is so important. I gave him Amara's as well, which is +2. I also gave him a Delirium, which is +2, and there's a reason why I gave him Delirium over something like Jala's Mane, and we'll talk about that later. I also gave him a Beast Axe, which is something he desperately needs, specifically for the Fanaticism aura, and we'll talk about that later. He also has Bramble, which is for the poison skill damage, along with the Thorns aura, both of which will be absolutely vital for him. He has the Trangle's Claws, which is for the 25% poison skill damage, which he's going to need. He has 2 Sojas on, which is specifically for his plus to skills, and then, of course, the Arachnid's Mesh, which is also for plus to skills. And then I also gave him a pair of Sandstorm Trex Ethereal. He's running Summoning Skill Charms. All summoning skill charms. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 summoning skill charms, and he's also running some all-res 20 life charms, just simply because I could. Because why not? This guy is probably not going to work. I'm going to tell you, he is probably not going to work, so I'm trying to even see if it's possible at all by giving him broken equipment. He's also has a mercenary who's running Andariel's Visage, Treachery, and then, of course, he has a Pride for the Concentration aura, along with the Might aura that he already has, which is going to stack together. So I've got the Might aura from the Merc, I've got the Pride aura, which is the Concentration aura, I've got the Fanaticism aura, and I also have the Thorns aura. So I'm technically running 4 different auras right now to beef up my my summons. Now this character is built around summons, so this is what I call a rabid wolf pack. So the idea behind this is you build up your summons as high as you can, and then you also build up your rabies, and you throw in whatever's left into your werewolf form. Now what we're going to need right off the bat is we're definitely going to need to max out rabies and Poison Creeper. These are 2 things that are very important to this build because we're going to be using rabies on this build. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 point into Lycanthropy and Werewolf. We're also going to go down here and we're going to put maximum points into rabies, and we're going to put maximum points into Poison Creeper. And this is going to give us a rather large amount of poison damage of 17,411 to 18,113, and this will reflect in our attack when we transform into our werewolf form. So we've got our 17 to 18k. Now keep in mind that poison damage is kind of odd because it does tick, obviously, so it has to actually tick on the target, so it's not just an immediate application. And next we're going to beef up the summons. So we need all of the summons to cap. All right, so we need Direwolf and Summon Grizzly and Summon Spirit Wolf all need to be level 20. So we're going to have to pump points into all of these. And that leaves us with a total of 6 points left, which we can spend on something else. And we're definitely going to want to put at least 1 point into Heart of the Wolverine, because that's going to be the aura that we're going to be using. And we're also going to put some more points into the trying to think. We've got 20 points in Ravens right now, which we don't really need max Ravens. We've got 10 skill points into Werewolf, which is a pretty decent amount of skill points, although we could stack some more skill points in there. And then, of course, we could beef up Heart of the Wolverine. I think that might actually be our best bet here, is to beef up Heart of the Wolverine, because it's going to give us more damage, more attack rating. So we're going to go ahead and put the 5 skill points that are left into Heart of the Wolverine, and that's going to be the end of that. So now we have our army, essentially. So what are we actually going to use? Are we going to use the bear? Are we going to use the dire wolf? Or are we going to use the spirit wolf? And why did we put points into all of them? Well, I'm going to explain this. So out of all the characters in the game, the Summon Necromancer. Summon Druid is the only class that actually benefits from plus to skills on these 3 abilities only. So when you look at something like Poison, Creeper, and Rabies, and you see it says adds 18% poison damage per level, it doesn't work with plus to skills, so it's only hard points. However, the summoning tree works with plus to skills. It is a freak of nature in the Diablo world, and it actually does get affected by plus to skills. So you see my level 39 wolf, level 39 summon dire wolf, and level 40 grizzly, or level 39 grizzly bear. So they're all getting beefed up immensely by these plus to skills, and that's the entire goal, is to get all these plus to skills in there so that the summons are getting an amazing bonus to their damage. So let's go ahead and summon our creatures. So we've got our Poison Creeper, which doesn't really do amazing damage. It's 350 to 353 poison damage, and it's not going to be the most broken thing in the world. But he's there to beef up our Rabies. We're not really worried about that. Might as well summon him anyway since we have him. We also get 5 ravens, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ravens. Unfortunately, they are not affected by our aura, but they will last for 31 hits, which is a pretty long time. We also have Summon Spirit Wolf, Summon Dire Wolf, and Summon Grizzly. The one that we want to use is actually Summon Dire Wolf, because Summon Dire Wolves actually eat corpses and they double their damage. So despite the fact that Summon Spirit Wolf might seem like the better option, or Grizzly Bear might seem like the better option for its massive damage, believe it or not, the Dire Wolves are actually the go-to choice. Unfortunately, there is only 3 of them. And then we are going to use our Heart of the Wolverine, and we've got our little army running. At this point, we are going to take ourselves, and we are going to turn ourselves into our werewolf form, and we're going to use our Rabies. So let me go grab some potions, and we're going to run around, and we're going to see how well this works in Hell difficulty, if it works at all. The general idea here is that the minions, the summons essentially, are doing most, if not all, of the physical damage, and I will be there waiting in the wings to provide the elemental damage, the poison damage, if it is needed. So let's start with Shank, and let's just see how he runs. We should be running some pretty massive amounts of damage, but we'll find out. First, we're going to let our army get in there before we start applying any poison. I just want to see how well they are able to take out targets. And that was actually pretty fast. Let's up this to players 8, though, because I really want to see how well they do in a more difficult situation. And it really pains me to leave that amulet on the ground. Alright, so now we're going to start tagging in our Rabies damage along top. So as you can see, Rabies spreads very well from target to target. It is a huge spreading damage effect. So the more I bite, the more poison damage is spread out between all the targets. And in this way, I'm using my army as a distraction, essentially, to apply my Rabies to all these targets and hopefully cause lots of damage. Now keep in mind, on players 8... let me turn down the volume just a tad. Keep in mind that on players 8, they have massive amounts of HP. And it's much more difficult to kill monsters on players 8 in Hell difficulty than it is in normal. And I don't think I'm doing absolutely awful in players 8. I would say that's not terrible. Let's see how fast they kill Shank without my help. Of course, we got the Merc. The Merc is he's gonna be hitting like a Mack truck. He's already got like 4,500 damage, and you know, it's not awful. It's very difficult. I'm gonna tell you the truth. All these items that I had to put on to make this work, it definitely wasn't the most amazing. I think a real coup de grace, like to really test the character out, would be let's go see if we can kill Bale. I feel like Bale is a good test. Let's just see if we can actually kill Bale with this, and if we can kill Bale, that will be the answer. Is this even something that is possible? But of course, because you know, it's just it's such an interesting and odd build. I think it's Superior Great Hauberk on the ground. 2 sockets. No. No. Oh, you guys are probably immune to poison, ain't you? Too bad, I'll bite you anyway. I'm just watching like the damage that's going on from these guys, and they're doing a pretty good job damage-wise, killing stuff. And where the hell are those firewalls coming from? Is that oh yeah, that's level 25%. 25% chance to cast level 17 firewall when struck. Interesting. And this is still on players 8, by the way. So so do keep in mind as I am struggling, if I do struggle, it is because of the players 8. Them firewalls, though. Oh lord, I'm about to die from poison. That's some massive poison damage. Oh, it would have helped if I put my my points into vitality. That explains it. Herder. I was wondering why my health was going down so easily. It's because I didn't have any health. I did not have any health. Ooh, a skill trap. Alright. Unfortunately, my army is pretty much all gone, and I haven't put any of these things on the proper buttons. Hold on. So I'm going to need to be able to resummon my army, obviously, as I go along. So here we go. We need more ravens, which does add to the damage. Poison creeper died, and one of the wolves died, so that gets us refreshed. And you can cast those things while you are in the shape-shifting form, so that's interesting to note. Now, one thing I'm noticing right off the bat is I can't hit things because I don't have the attack rating. Unfortunately, my attack rating is very poor. It doesn't really seem to matter so much, though, because I just kind of run up and just bite until I do eventually land a hit. And then the Rabies applies to everyone nearby. But that will definitely be something I'll have to solve eventually. Here you go. Here's one of our first challenges. So this is an immune to physical monster, and the immune to physical would be something that I could bypass with poison. But I am missing. There we go. I hit. It's not really working very well now, is it? I mean, it's all right, But my mercenary and my minions are completely incapable of doing anything to those targets. It may be something that I'll have to look at in the future for finding some sort of maybe Decrepify. Maybe Reaper's Toll would have been better for my mercenary than, than Pride. Or, sorry, what's the one that has Decrepify on it? Might have been a better choice. Of course, it would be nice if I could actually hit targets. Didn't even think about that, did I? I freaking summon Grizzly Bear on the charges. I wonder. I frickin' wonder. Would it kill my? My bear? My wolves? It does kill my wolves. That's sad. Let's bring out big old bad bear though. My level 40 bear. Let's see how he rocks. It's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really sure exactly how much damage he's doing, but he hits pretty hard. Oh Lord! And I didn't have any scrolls of town portal or anything. And thankfully, I could just leave and come back. It's not that big of a deal. So players 8 might be a little bit too much for him, and that's kind of sad considering how much ridiculous equipment he has. So let's bring the players back down to players 1. Let's see if he can at least handle players 1 with ease. With the kind of equipment he's running, I would have assumed that he would have at least been able to run players 8, but maybe players 8, like I said, it's just a little too far out of his comfort zone. And where's my Heart of the Wolverine? There we go. I grab my body up here. Actually, I need to resummon everything because I did it without the plus to skills. And the Heart of Wolverine. Alright, there we go. The map should still be up. I could pretty much just run there. Oh, snakes. Snakes on a plane. What's up, Black Souls? So maybe 2 Sojas wasn't the best idea. I probably could have ran a Ravenfrost for more attack rating. In fact, there's probably a lot of items that I could have run for more attack rating. Oh, Lord Jesus, that is a freaking lot going on there. He's not very tanky, is he? He has died. He has died multiple times, and it's actually due to me rushing through. You know, maybe if I had actually fought that stuff. You know, let's do that. Let's just actually go ahead and fight that stuff. It's not that big of a deal. We'll just see what happens. Of course, now I don't have my plus to skills, which means I'm going to be kind of up the creek without a paddle, right? See the weird thing about these particular summons is they don't function the same as the Necromancer summons do. I don't know if you guys have ever played a Necromancer, but when you play a Necromancer and you move forward, your summons on the Necromancer will sort of like teleport around you in a circle. So as you go forward, you tend to keep your army. Just in general, like almost as a general rule, your army kind of like stays with you. And the interesting thing about this is that on the Druid, it doesn't. Like your army kind of lags behind you, and it becomes more difficult to make things work. And my entire army just got absolutely obliterated there. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that was embarrassing. That was just embarrassing. All right, let's try this one more time. And the last time, this is the last time we're going to try this, because if we can't do it on a player's 1 with a normal slow walk, then this build is completely foobar. So what we're going to do is I'm not going to rush like I have been doing. I'm not going to try and bypass things. I'm just going to let my my mercenaries do their job, let my army do its job, and we'll see what happens. Of course, it didn't help that I hadn't put my vitality points in that first time I was running through, and that's why I ended up dying that first time, because I didn't have any points on my vitality, which might have helped a little bit. Tiny little bit. Just a skosh. Little skosh. Alright, Ravens up. Dire Wolves up. Heart of the Wolverine up. Poison Creeper up. Alright, so let's take it slow. Let's let the army do its job, right? So, even without me casting my Rabies, they're doing pretty good in Players 1. I don't necessarily like the lack of minions. I feel like there could be more minions. I almost feel like I'd be better off with the Spirit Wolves, just simply because there's 5 of them. And man, my Merc just bit it. That's disappointing. Man, even with all the plus the skills, even with only Players 1, or did I change it back to Players 1? I thought I did. It still says Players 8. Hold on. Let's just make sure. Let's just make sure.
Afternoon.
One more time into the breach. Alright, come on, Merc. No dying this time. God, the poison damage on these guys is insane. And that's coming from a person who has massive poison damage. And this guy is immune to physical and he's immune to poison, which is probably why everybody's dying with extreme extreme evilness. Alright, so my wolves are dying super duper fast, and I don't know what I can do to prevent it. They just don't have the resistances, I think, to handle the elemental damage. They seem to be okay with the physical damage, but when it comes to things like poison and fire and lightning, they're not having any luck. And I guess it's because they're not like the Necromancer minions that have the summon resistance added onto them. I don't really know how I could fix it. There's no like item with a salvation aura on it or anything that could help out my minions. The attack rating problems for the poison are definitely a big deal. I can't apply my Rabies as efficiently as I would like to. The wolves are not staying alive, which is a big detriment to the build. And if the wolves are not staying alive, the mercenary's not staying alive, and nothing is staying alive. And I'm not really sure how to fix that, other than maybe going for Oak Sage instead of Heart of the Wolverine, but that would decrease my overall damage and attack rating, and it would make it even harder for me to land hits. So there's also that. All in all, I think that this theory craft might be a failure. I don't know what I could do to possibly fix it. These will be things that I will think about, and I'm always thinking about silly things like this. They are builds that are absolutely silly. Nobody in their right mind actually wants to do them, but here I am thinking about them anyway. And I don't know what to say about this other than I think it failed. I don't know what I could do to fix it. If you have any ideas in the comments, go ahead and leave your ideas in the comments of how maybe I could fix the build. It is, after all, just a theory craft. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.